If you clicked in this video, chances are that you want to become smart. Now, throughout life, you have been told that you need 12 years of school and another 3, 4, or even 5 years of university, depending on which degree you choose to study. Now, what if I told you that there is a much easier and quicker way for you to actually become smart? Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Joanna. I'm a final year biomedical science student studying in London, and in this video, I'm going to share my top 3 practical skills that will make you a genius. Practical tip number 1 is reading books. Now, you can read fiction books to expand on your vocabulary, but what I would strongly recommend is to read non-fiction books, and that is what I personally read myself. Reading books is the fastest way for you to become smart, because you are getting access to years of knowledge and experience in just a couple of pages. Because when you read non-fiction books, you casually drop interesting knowledge when you're speaking to your family, friends, or even colleagues at work. And you know how some people have a bucket list of places I want to travel? I have that, but I also have a bucket list of books that I want to read in the future. And I've collected these books through recommendations from YouTube videos, podcasts I listen to, and even from my brothers, because they are into self-help as well. But the way I love to practice what I read is teaching it to my family and friends. So at home, me and my brothers, we have a tradition where every single night over dinner, we talk about books that we are currently reading and the podcasts that we are currently listening to. And we teach one another and we share with one another what we've learned from those books and what we've listened and learned from those podcasts. And we have been doing this consistently for the past 3 years now, and it has radically transformed us because it's knowledge acquisition, because it's accumulating over time. So what books should you read? I will give you 6 books and I'll split them in 3 categories that will help you to become super smart. Category number 1, psychology. In this category, I would recommend you to read 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, my favorite, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. These 2 books will teach you how to influence and become powerful. Category number 2 would be biographies. This category, what I would recommend would be the biography of Elon Musk and Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. And Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, in combination with another podcast, is what got me into running. And after 6 months of me running consistently every single week, I convinced my brothers to get into running as well, and everyone in the house is now a runner. On to category number 3 would be productivity/building good habits. So the 2 books I would recommend under this category would be Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod and Atomic Habits by James Clear. These 2 books will teach you practical habits that you can actually take and implement into your life, such as habit stacking that was mentioned in the book Atomic Habits. Let's say you are struggling with being consistent with your skincare routine. One practical thing that you can do is to do your skincare routine right after you brush your teeth. You're building one skill on top of another. These books are books that I have personally read, and I think these books are a must read for you to become super smart. What I would suggest to you is to read 1 book a month. The quickest way for you to achieve this is by picking up a book. Let's say the book has 300 pages. Divide that 300 pages by 30 days. So if you read 10 pages per day, each day, by the end of the month, you'll be able to finish that book. You don't read just for the sake of reading. The reason why you read is because you need to accumulate this knowledge, and once you accumulate that knowledge, then you have to go and practice it in the real world. And that's why I love self-help books so much, because they teach you practical things that you actually need to do. And some people who read self-help books and say, my life haven't changed, is because they haven't applied what they've read and what they've learned. You need to apply what you learn. That's why self-help, because you are helping your own self. And it's up to you to go and apply that knowledge in the real world and see the results for yourself. Practical tip number 2 is listening to podcasts. Now, I'm not talking about watching celebrity drama or celebrity gossip commentary videos. No, I'm talking about podcasts that will help you to level up your life. Okay, so some podcasts that I would recommend you to watch are Huberman Lab with Huberman. Now, this podcast will teach you everything about health, nutrition, exercise, sleep, recovery, morning sunlight exposure, and my favorite, cold exposure in the form of cold showers. After you take a cold shower, you don't need coffee anymore, honey. No. And one quote that I absolutely love that helps me to get into the cold shower when I don't feel like doing it is, jumping in a cold lake too late is not going to make it any warmer. So if you don't feel like doing something, just do it. Just go for it. The second podcast that I would recommend you to listen to is Transform Your Life from Inside Out with Jim Fortin. This podcast is phenomenal. This podcast has transformed me. Name speaks for itself. Transform your life from inside out. And from this podcast, I've learned the be, do, have method. And what that is basically for you to have more, you have to be more. Therefore, you have to do more to have more. And if you want to know more about it, start from episode number 1 and move your way up. This podcast also teaches you about habits, how to break old habits. Also teaches you how to rewrite your old stories, because the way you see things in life and the way you see yourself and the way you see your life, it's because of the stories that you keep telling yourself. And if you want a better outcome in life, then you have to rewrite those stories and get out of that stuck mindset. This podcast is life changing. It has changed my life so much in so many ways. And I've already listened to 100 episodes. Now, the third podcast that I would recommend you to listen to is The Diary of a CEO with Stephen Bartlett. Stephen Bartlett, he brings amazing people into his podcast, and some of my favorite people that he had on was Ivy Comparas. If you are wondering what a female version of David Goggins would be, is her. She is phenomenal. She talks about how not to be a victim and to build a bulletproof mind and how to develop a strong mindset. Another person that Stephen Bartlett had on, Vin Gian. He goes by Ask Vin on Instagram. Oh my god, he's one of my favorite people when it comes to developing your communication skills. Practical tip number 3 is to become a creator. I'm talking about writing blogs, posting on social media, or even creating videos on YouTube to inspire people. 1 month ago, I started my YouTube channel, and it has been the most rewarding thing I've ever done because it has taught me so many skills such as editing and learning different editing techniques. The best way for you to become smart, you put into practice what you've learned. The more you practice something, the easier it's going to become. And that's how people become smart. All these people that you see on social media, these people who have written books or are public figures, the way they became this smart is by reading and applying what they've read. If you find them inspiring and you want to have the qualities that they have, then you have to do what they did to become that kind of individual who possesses those qualities. So teaching what I've learned, I already was doing it with my family and friends. And now I decided to take it to YouTube because I wanted to inspire and motivate people out there who need this kind of information and this kind of tips. Everything that I've shared so far in my YouTube videos, it has been through me reading books and listening to podcasts, taking that knowledge, applying it in real life, getting the results for myself, and then coming on here and sharing them with the rest of the world. I got into the self-help space when I was 18 years old, and from 18 years old until now, I have been doing these things that I'm teaching, and that's why I got so good at this. By far, this has been the most rewarding thing that I've ever done because I get to inspire people all over the world, and I get to add value to the world, motivate other people who need this kind of help. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!